So ever since, I think we've made some progress. It's been kind of an experiment so far for us. Coming from a large company like Reliance, we worked with about 22 startups so far. They've raised about $15 million. But more importantly, they got a lot of face time with our internal business units where they could validate and get feedback on their products. A lot of them actually ended up doing POCs as well. And all the mentors that were there, both from internal within the ecosystem as well as from the larger ecosystem. So I think so far we've been doing well. But what we realize is that it's not enough to have a product. You have to be a little further down the line if you have to take full advantage of GenNext Hub, because we are part of a larger ecosystem within the Reliance company, right? So the ideal stage at which you should come in is when you have some kind of a product market fit, and then you want to look at scaling up. So that's the whole idea. And what we try and focus on is to make sure that you don't stay at a product level, but you become a sustainable company. And that's where we are headed with the program. This is some of the traction that we've got with our startups. GenNext, most of you must have heard about GenNext. 1 year from demo day, customers have increased from 5 to 150, turnover of 20x. Funding from Paytm and valuation has gone up to 200 crores. Pixel, again, 2 months from demo day, a lot of customer traction, a lot of inbound leads from other customers. Customer acquisition cost has gone down because awareness has increased, right? We deliver, we have Sheeny from we deliver out here. I don't know, there he is. So if any of you all want to reach out to him to get a sense of what the program is like, you can always touch base with him. Again, deliveries have gone up by 10x. He's probably one of the few players in the last mile delivery space who's achieving profitable unit economics, right? So these are some of the things that we offer. Mainly it's around mentoring, right? And here is a unique opportunity for you to get mentored by business leaders within the company. People who are heading large billion-dollar businesses come and spend a lot of time with you. And these interactions are not more like, customer vendor kind of interactions, but more about, how can we help? Where are you stuck? What are the connections that you need? How can we help you? That kind of a conversation. We are also looking at, funding startups. The first 2 batches, we didn't do any funding. There are a few that we are considering for funding ourselves. But going forward, there's going to be a practice in place where we will invest in most of the startups that come through. So the way we're looking at the program now is that basically you will have from about 500, 600 companies that apply to us, we'll have about 10, 12 of them actually going through the program. Depending on our interest, we'll kind of take in some initial equity against funding of about 5%. And that can go up to about 20% by the end of the program. So, within the first month or so, it's about 5%, and then, about 20% in the 5th or the 6th month. So that's the kind of option that we give to startups who want to receive investment from us. We of course, we also organize funding workshops with other investors, so you can always sort of leverage that as well. Microsoft is our key partner, so they provide a lot of resources to startups, which is really critical when you're growing, Azure and BizSpark, etc. So I think that is very important. A lot of networking opportunities, not just within the ecosystem, but even outside. We do a lot of PR for our companies. We have our corporate communications group that works very closely with us in helping us promote the startups as they're going through the program and even after that. Again, market access, RIL as a company, as a customer, Microsoft and other partner connects also through our connections. And it's an immersive program. Once you're there, you're a part of the family. You kind of go through the program. You make lifelong friends. It's pretty intensive with all the workshops and all that. This is the team. A lot of us have done startups ourselves, so we come with that background. Naveen is here from Microsoft Ventures. I don't know if he's in the crowd somewhere. Apul is here, our CTO in residence, so you can chat up with him if you want. So a well-rounded team. We just closed the applications for our third batch, but in case any of y'all are interested in looking at the next batch, do connect with us. I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce Mathew Verghese, who's the state marketing head for Jio, Reliance Jio, which is soon to be launched. And what we want to do is to also talk about, how GenNext and Jio are going to work together in the ecosystem. So I'd like to invite Mathew on the stage, please. I'd like to take the.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I just love this slot. It's just before the lunchtime, so I'm sure I'm standing between you and lunch, so I'll keep this short. I'll just like to take you through what Reliance Jio is planning to do in the digital space. And many of you would have heard about Reliance Jio and some of the things they're doing. I just thought I'll summarize all this together and maybe start off with what the Reliance Group is all about. So I'm sure many of you have heard about the Reliance Group, and it takes no introduction to talk about the efforts that our chairman has done. We are obviously a group that has, it's listed as one of the 114th ranked in the entire space of Fortune 500 companies. We have a tremendous record in the petroleum space, in the oil exploration, in the petrochemical space, and we've recently ventured into the consumer side of business also. Reliance Retail is in the forefront of the retail business, and now we're getting into the telecom space also with Jio. And let me just modify that. It's not just the telecom space. We are actually getting into the digital space. And what I mean by digital is it's an evolution beyond telecom. So what exactly are we going to do? Okay. What is the vision that Reliance Jio would like to basically foresee for every Indian? Okay. As you see that, we would like to change the way people work, play, and learn. Okay. And we see there is a lot of movement that's happening proactively in the digital space. We'd like to be part of that. We'd like to engineer that for people in segments that have not taken it up yet. And we'd like to be a catalyst in this entire initiative. So we see there's, and it'll come in the subsequent slides, as to still, there's a lot of potential for India to go along the line of internet connectivity in terms of broadband penetration, the miles to go. And we would like to be a catalyst in that space. This is an analogy that I like to use. All of us have undertaken holidays on road trips sometime point of our lives, right? I'd like to basically talk about how the digital space is very akin to a road trip. Okay, there are three essential components for a road trip. You've got, you need to have a vehicle, you need to have roads, and you need to have a destination in mind, right? So basically, the journey, if you have a vehicle that breaks down very frequently, you're not going to enjoy the journey. If you've got bad roads, that again is going to spoil the journey. And if you don't have an exciting destination to look forward to, that again is something that you may not really enjoy the journey. Now, it's very similar in the case of what we think about how the entire ecosystem is going to play out. So the devices that we have in our hands are nothing but the cars that we do undertake when a journey. Okay, you need to have a great device, but that's not sufficient. That's just a starting point. Along with a great device, you need great infrastructure. Okay, you need a great bandwidth. You need great, optic fiber network, a reliable network that can transmit, hundreds of gigs of data. And that's where we're really talking about, and that's where we see a lot of opportunity. And if you have a great network and you have a great device, but if you don't have great apps, or you don't have any great content, again, you're not going to engineer this, right? So people have to actually have something to look forward to. I know a lot of people who've got a great device and who've got, and they're on a good 3G, 4G network, whatever they have. But, they may not really know what to do with it. They just check their mails, maybe download a few songs, movies, etc. But there's so much more that you can do with it. And I'm sure that's the space where all of you are in which you want to get people online, get them to transact more, interact more, and digitally enhance their lives. And that's where we see a lot of opportunity in content and apps going forward. Okay. See, I'll just brush through all this. I mean, all of us know that things have changed drastically. Earlier, you had landlines, you had mobile phones, the ways of talking were through a walkie-talkie, and that's all changed now. Now people probably use WhatsApp and OTT applications more than they actually talk. Okay, that's the one that's really accelerating. Okay, you've changed the way in which you transact, the way you bank, the way we watch content. TV is like a dead media right now. Everybody, like idiot box is there at home. But we would like interactivity. We would like to basically watch movies that we like to see when we like to see it. Okay, that's the entire boon of having video on demand. Why should I watch what is there in any of the 200, 300 channels that are there beaming today? Let me watch what I want when I'm in a mood to watch it. If I'm in a down mood, I'd like to watch something that's uplifting. Okay, similar with music. Why should I listen to what's available on FM or on radio? Why can't I stream music of my choice and listen to wherever I am? Okay, or the way we shop. Okay, how many of us have actually migrated to the digital way of shopping? I mean, I do a lot of transaction online. I'm sure all of you do. And people who have been there in metros know the problems with parking, with long queues at supermarkets and hypermarkets. That's all a thing of the past. It's going to be a thing of the past very soon because people are going to transact increasingly online, and they're already doing it. Pay online. Okay, earlier there was a phobia of paying online. People worried, if I put my credit card information online, is it going to get pilfered? Am I going to have is there some people are going to rip my account and things like that? But that's all gone. Now people are very comfortable with mobile wallets, okay? And that I'm sure a lot of you are probably in that space. And we see a lot of, and we have an app which is called Jio Money, which encourages people to basically go online, pay online, and it's a digital wallet, right? So basically we're saying that, okay, there are a lot of things that are happening around the world today in various fields, be it healthcare. Okay, there are organizations today that actually come home to treat patients who cannot come to the hospital. There are doctor consultations that are available on video call. Okay, and some of these things were not imaginable in the past. If you had an ailing relative, how many times have you struggled to get them to the nearest clinic or the nearest hospital? But today you have a facility in which people can come home to you. They can take lab tests online at your home, post the results online. They can actually treat you, dress you, everything happens at your residence. So we see this as a lot of opportunity. Okay, we see people actually, maybe a trained nurse coming home, caring for patients, in case the patient has a complication, actually engineering a video call back to the doctor to have a consultation on the spot. Okay, and this we see as a significant improvement in people's lifestyles, in healthcare, and the time to basically, consult a doctor. Okay, that gets cut down. And we see a lot more things that we can do on the health space. There are opportunities in which actually, why would you actually want to carry a record of your entire medical history when you shift cities, go to a new city, carry your entire records, go and show to the doctor? Why can't all this be online? Why can't your x-rays, your medical reports, your ECGs, etc., be on an app which is basically shown to the doctor for a limited duration while you're consulting with him? Okay, we see there are a lot of opportunities in this space, and we're working towards that also. So we see medicine is obviously one space that is big. Education is really, really big. Okay, we see because the students accept technology very easily. The growth of all online learning courses, etc., are a testimony to the fact that there's a lot of things that we can do in education. We are right now working with a number of colleges, universities across India, in which we are actually going to Wi-Fi the college. We are going to create a medium for students to access internet on the go through smartphones, through iPads, or whatever notepads that they've got. And basically, we're going to create a digital campus. Learning has to evolve from textbooks into online media. You could do research sitting in the classroom, the teacher's talking about a particular subject. You would like to basically pull up research that happens, that's available online somewhere. Why can't you do it? Why can't your classroom be Wi-Fi enabled? And we're not talking about the big cities alone. Why can't this happen in a tier 2, tier 3, even a village? So we see this entire technology as a big leveler. Earlier, technology was and all these facilities available in bigger cities. We see no challenge in going down to the last mile, to village school, to village college in a remote place, and actually doing the same thing over there. And that is what our chairman's vision is also, to create a digital movement. In short, it's basically to transform the way we learn, live, play, and work. And in short, create a movement which accelerates a revolution. And what is the reason for all this? What's the reason? Why is he so passionate about all this? One is obviously the fact that we all know how the data business is growing in India. And we are estimated to hit around 700 million users by 2020. So there's a tremendous acceleration. But is this enough? If you put it in the global context, okay, that's where we stand. We have a long way to go. This data is a year old, so probably some of the stats are a bit dated. But still, penetration in India is close to just 25, 26%. Compare that with something in Western Europe, or even a country like Brazil. Brazil is 50% plus penetration. Okay, and we are wallowing at 21, 22%. Now, this is something unacceptable for a place like India, which has got so much of talent, the tech startup place, the people use the terminology of the Silicon Valley of India, Bangalore. But there's an India beyond Bangalore. There's an India beyond our big cities. And as a result of that, there is a lot of potential there that we have to actually take this penetration from 26 all the way up to 90+%. And that's where we ideally should be if we call ourselves a tech-savvy nation. And just look at the broadband penetration. We had 1.3%. Probably this would have gone for 2% by now. But still, Korea's at 30+%. So there is a long way to go. I mean, and this is what we want to do. Basically, we want to take India up by its, and pull it up and get people into double-digit growth levels and accelerate the penetration of broadband right down to the smallest village. So in summary, this is where we are really looking at going. And this gives you a kind of a summary of where we are. We are talking about giving high-definition voice, which is something called voice over LTE. We have basically got video calls going. We've got a facility to seamlessly switch between voice and video. We are also talking about fiber to your home with the speeds up to 1 gig and beyond. Okay, and we see this as its time has come, and its time is due. People should really adopt for these technologies to actually progress. And we are looking at this as, and we've got a number of apps to basically enable people to start going forward in terms of entertainment, education, in terms of, So if you look at the speed that we're talking about, what is Jio offering? We're talking about video calls without any buffering, without any jitter. We're talking about seamless downloads. And we're talking about, and this, the speed test that is over there is a live speed test, one of the places we've implemented a network, 85 Mbps download speed. Right? So this is something that we talk about people actually experiencing. And this is available today in many places in Bangalore and across India. Right? So this is no longer something theoretical. It's actually live and people are experiencing these speeds right now as we talk. Okay. And just to give you a kind of hint about the kind of things that we're doing over the space, we've got some exciting apps like Jio Play, which basically gives you live TV. It gives you catch up over the last 7 days of TV if you missed up anything. It's got numerous HD channels. We've got video on demand, which basically is a curated list of movies from across genres and languages. We've got our own chat app. Okay, Jio Chat is available on Android and iOS. And it's also got very exciting stickers and stuff like that if you're into all those things. And we've got dedicated channels over there. We've got numerous government and private bodies who've actually used this as a dedicated channel available to actually broadcast or to communicate to your own people who are there as part of the chat messenger group. We've got Jio Mags, which is basically latest magazines available. We've got Jio Money, okay, which like I mentioned earlier is a wallet. We've got Cloud Space. We're providing 5 GB free to all customers. And we've got Jio News, etc., which is the latest news available at a tap of a button. And how do we feel that we can work with the startup space when all this technology is floating around? Obviously, we've got building the infrastructure. We would love to have you people use the infrastructure. It could be via our smartphones. It could be via becoming a client of ours on the broadband space. We could basically partner with you in terms of creating a Wi-Fi in your organization, high-speed, reliable Wi-Fi as a backup. And our technology works such that you can actually ideally use the Wi-Fi for voice calls also. So there are significant savings that will be built in the products that come. We see a lot of potential in working with startups in the space of customizing content, localizing content, because we've got some content in, but then obviously we would like to build it up further. So a lot of places we can work with other startups in terms of if you've got a great idea, and I'm sure that's where Amey also comes in, which you can work together. We're obviously going to have the consumer base to build volumes. So we have the platform, we will have the base going forward. We welcome you to partner with us to take it forward, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Here's a small token of appreciation from our partners, Indigo Nation, and a goodie bag from NextBigWhat team. Thank you very much.
Thank you.